Lord, have mercy upon us. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Almighty God, who in thy wisdom and goodness hast appointed the office of rulers and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of men and women, we beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us, thy servants, whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in these islands. Let thy blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote thy honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of these islands and those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. And this we beg for Jesus Christ's sake. Amen. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all evermore. Amen.
Thank you. Members, the House is now in session. Members, the minutes from the 12th of September have been circulated. Are there any amendments required? There are none. The minutes will be confirmed as printed. Messages from the governor? There are none. Statements and other communications to the House? Papers and other communications to the House. There are three this morning. The first is in the name of the Premier and Minister of Finance. Premier?
Good morning to you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to attach and submit for the information of the Honorable House of Assembly the banks and deposit companies over-the-limit fees and unauthorized overdraft fees regulations 2025 as made by the Minister of Finance and exercise the powers conferred by Section 60 of the Banks and Deposits Company Act 1999 and acting on the advice of the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
Thank you. Would you like to do your second paper as well?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to attach submit for the information of the Honorable House of Assembly the Trust Regulation of Trust Business Exemption Amendment Order 2025 as made by the Minister of Finance and exercise of power conferred by Section 10.2 of the Trust Regulation, in exercise the power conferred by Section 10.2 of the Trust Regulation of Trust Business Act 2001 and acting on the advice of the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
Thank you, Premier. The next paper to be introduced is from the Minister of Economy and Labor. Minister?
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to attach and submit for the information of the Honorable House of Assembly the work permit policy.
Thank you. Petitions, there are none. Statements by ministers and junior ministers. But before I recognize the first statement, I've been informed that our guests this morning are visitors, and it's nice to see visitors here when we start at 10 o'clock in the morning. So welcome to our parliament. I trust you'd enjoy your visit here as well as your stay in Bermuda, and I believe it's Mrs. Christian, is it? Good. Good. All right. Enjoy your time in Bermuda. I hope you find this very interesting while you're sitting in on parliament this morning. Thank you. The first statement this morning is from the Premier and Minister of Finance. Premier?
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, earlier today I tabled the regulations entitled the Banks and Deposits Company Over-the-Limit Fees and Unauthorized Overdraft Fees Regulations 2025. These regulations represent an important step in ensuring that Bermuda's financial services framework provides fair treatment for consumers while also aligning Bermuda with global best practices in banking conduct. Mr. Speaker, the development of these regulations reflects the progression of work over recent years. Honorable members will recall that the Banks and Deposits Company Amendment Act 2022 provided the Minister of Finance, acting on the advice of the Bermuda Monetary Authority, with powers to regulate banking fees. Since the time of the Amendment Act's passage, Following extensive consultation with Bermuda Bankers Association and its members, these regulations have been put into force to provide greater fairness for consumers. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of these regulations is to provide clear rules governing the imposition of over-the-limit fees and unauthorized overdraft fees from banks and deposit-taking institutions. Specifically, the regulation will ensure that over-the-limit fees may not be charged when a customer exceeds their credit limit solely due to interest or other fees. Over-limit fees may only be imposed once per calendar month for each product, service, or facility. Unauthorized overdraft fees may only be imposed once per calendar month or once per quarter where the billing cycle is longer than 90 days for each product, service, or facility. Customers must be given the choice through an express agreement whether to opt into over-the-limit arrangements. Institutions must provide clients with annual opportunities for review or terminate those agreements. And institutions that fail to comply will commit an offense punishable by a fine. Mr. Speaker, these regulations give legal effect to the commitments previously made by this government to address long-standing concerns about fairness in the banking sector. In practical terms, this means that the provisions prohibiting multiple or fee-driven over-the-limit and overdraft charges within a single billing period are now in force, ensuring that Bermudians are no longer penalized unfairly for unauthorized overdrafts. Further, the provision requiring explicit customer opt-in and the opportunity for an annual review shall come into effect in April 2026. This transition period has been structured to provide institutions with sufficient time to update and adjust their systems so that when these new requirements take hold, they can be implemented without disruption to customers. Mr. Speaker, the public should know that the regulations tabled earlier today are not the conclusion of our work in this area. They form part of a broader program of reform to improve access and fairness in banking services. The next steps will include advancing measures to ensure access to a basic bank account for all legal Bermuda residents, consistent with Bermuda's obligations under international standards such as those of the Financial Action Task Force. Technical officers are currently reviewing the policy to be advanced in collaboration with the Bermuda Monetary Authority, and consultation has already commenced with the Bermuda Bankers Association. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, we will also advance reforms to address overall structure and level of bank fees in Bermuda. Policy discussions in this area are progressing, and the outcome will be the establishment of a banking fee framework that introduces stronger oversight of all bank fees through annual disclosure and ministerial review of fee increases. Taken together, these reforms will ensure that banking services are transparent and affordable while ensuring that every Bermudian is able to have access to the services of a bank account. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Premier. Members, the second statement this morning is in the name of the Minister of Tourism, Transport, and Culture. Minister Darrell, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to inform this honorable House and the people of Bermuda that Phase 2 of the SureLink program, thank you, to inform the people of Bermuda that Phase 2 of the SureLink program, real-time passenger information for buses and ferries, has launched successfully, delivering on our commitment to make public transportation more reliable, more convenient, and transparent for residents and visitors alike. It works. On Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, the real-time feature went live on the SureLink app for Apple and Android phones, enabling passengers to see live vehicle locations, predicted arrival times, and service updates in the palm of their hand. Honorable members will recall that SureLink is our multi-phase modernization of Bermuda's public transport system. Phase 1 digitized ticketing and demonstrated strong public adaptation. Phase 2 builds upon that foundation with GPS-enabled real-time information across buses and ferries, moving us from plan to pay to real-time public transport. Mr. Speaker, public confidence is critical to public transportation. With real-time tracking, passengers can now time their walk to the pickup point, check for disruptions, and make route decisions dynamically, especially during peak periods or in inclement weather. This is a significant shift in service quality, less waiting, more certainty, and better experience overall. Mr. Speaker, the public feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, with visitors and residents praising how seamlessly the app delivers real-time information. I have personally received messages expressing great enthusiasm for the new SureLink features. Comments such as, "This is amazing. I can track my daughter's school bus as she comes into town from school." Highlight how parents are now able to keep a closer watch on their children's journeys to and from school. Other positive remarks shared with me were as follows. "I didn't believe this technology would actually work. I saw a bus at the bus stop outside my gate. I checked the app and the bus was in the exact same location in real time." And another comment, Mr. Speaker, if I may, "I love watching the bus and ferry icons move in real time. I don't even catch the bus, but it's fantastic for seniors and children so that they know how long their wait may be." Many have expressed appreciation for Bermuda's step into modern transportation technology, noting that the app is user-friendly and particularly valuable for seniors and children who benefit knowing how long they need to wait. Mr. Speaker, also notably, post-launch media coverage has been positive. On launch day, Bermuda's primary television news network aired a hands-on segment called Real-Time Bus Tracking, Does It Work?, demonstrating the live tracker in the field. The following day, on August 6th, they followed up with segments noting the ministry's openness to further improvements as the public adapts the feature. Mr. Speaker, today's success reflects months of collaboration amongst our public officers, frontline teams, and technology partners. I extend sincere thanks to the Department of Public Transportation and Marine and Ports, whose operational insight ensured data accuracy so that riders saw reliable real-time updates. Looking ahead, Mr. Speaker, Phase 3 remains focused on further enhancing convenience and onboard payment flexibility. I will update this House as these capabilities move from testing to live service. In closing, Mr. Speaker, SureLink Phase 2 is an investment not just in technology, but in trust. When passengers can see their bus and ferry arrive in real time, public transport becomes a service that they can depend on. This is how we deliver better daily journeys and support our economy, one reliable trip at a time. I commend the teams who made this possible, and I encourage the public to download the SureLink app, explore the new features, and continue sharing feedback as we build the future of public transport together. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Members, the next statement this morning is in the name of the Minister of Economy and Labor, Minister Hayward.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to provide honorable members with an update on the work the Ministry of Economy and Labor is undertaking to ensure Bermudians are equipped with the skills, opportunities, and support they need to thrive in the labor market. The Economic Development Strategy and the Youth Employment Strategy are the foundation of the government's workforce development efforts. Mr. Speaker, the Youth Employment Strategy continues to be one of the government's most impactful initiatives. Between April and July 2025, more than 160 young Bermudians participated in employment programs, training, and career development services. Mr. Speaker, let me repeat that. Between April and July 2025, more than 160 young Bermudians participated in employment programs, training, and career development services. More than 150 youth engaged in summer employment program and student internship programs, gaining valuable work experience in both the public and private sector. Tailored work readiness workshops such as mock interviews, resume writing, interview with confidence, and service excellence supported over 120 participants in building the soft skills required to succeed in today's job market. Continued delivery of Wisdom Wednesday sessions provided mentorship, networking, and ongoing development support for student cohorts. Mr. Speaker, behind these numbers are powerful stories. A young man preparing to transition out of the independent living facility is now entering our Bridge to Work program. Another young person secured an interview at the Bermuda Hospital Board for an addiction counselor assistant role. A 23-year-old was placed with a construction firm to pursue his goals of becoming a mason. And a young mother is overcoming childcare barriers while preparing to re-enter the workforce. These stories illustrate the transformative impact of the youth employment strategy. Mr. Speaker, beyond youth programming, the department continues to strengthen Bermuda's training and apprenticeship ecosystem. Over 540 Bermudians have participated in employability training this year, with 78% of the participants reporting improved skills in the months following the training. Mr. Speaker, there are currently 41 active apprentices across employers, including Balco, BAC, Aircare, Mid-Atlantic Steel Supply, Birmingham Electrical, and the Bermuda Hospital Board. New apprenticeship opportunities are being developed in power engineering, information technology, and motor mechanics, with close collaboration between the government departments and industry partners. The Department of Workforce Development has also advanced its partnership with the Gang Violence Reduction Team to provide structured training and employment pathways for vulnerable youth. Mr. Speaker, the Department of Workforce Development also continues to make progress under the National Certification and Apprenticeship Board Act to ensure Bermuda's trades meet international standards. 14 landscape gardeners and 17 automotive technicians were certified and gazetted this year. We are also restructuring the industry advisory panels and occupational advisory committees to improve efficiency and compliance with legislation. International partnerships are being pursued to establish Bermuda-based certification in power engineering, welding, and additional skills trades. Mr. Speaker, scholarships remain a vital investment in Bermuda's future workforce. In July 2025, 7 new overseas undergraduate scholarships of $10,000 each were awarded. In addition, a total of $205,000 in continuance funding was distributed to 21 students already pursuing studies. Mr. Speaker, the work of the Department of Workforce Development is producing tangible results. We are equipping our young people with skills and opportunity. We are expanding apprenticeships and certifications in critical sectors. We are supporting vulnerable populations with targeted interventions. And we are modernizing our system to deliver effective data-driven services. These efforts are central to the people pillar of the Bermuda Economic Development Strategy, ensuring that our workforce is prepared, resilient, and positioned to seize opportunities in both traditional industries and emerging economy. Mr. Speaker, I commend the staff of the Department of Workforce Development, led by Director Malika Cartwright, for their persistent dedication and commitment to the people of Bermuda. With their efforts and support, with the efforts and support of this Honorable House, we will continue to empower Bermudians to rise, lead, and thrive in the workforce of tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Would you like to do your second statement?
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to inform the honorable members of this House of the Department of Immigration's Work Permit Policy 2025, which is laid in the House today and which will take effect on the 1st of November 2025. The government's goal is to ensure the proper balance between employment and immigration in Bermuda. There is a need to have in place realistic conditions that enable Bermudians to find work and pursue career opportunities while ensuring that suitably qualified non-Bermudians in specific job categories are able to work in Bermuda. Honorable members will recall the draft work permit policy was available for public feedback for approximately a month between the 5th of June 2025 and the 4th of July 2025. 137 responses were received from members of the public and the business community. The volume of feedback received from both business associations and the public was extensive. indicating the impact of immigration decisions that are keenly felt across the community. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of the work permit policy is to provide detailed guidance to employers, work permit holders, and aid included in the work permit policy and can be found at the corresponding policy numbers. 1.19 guidelines for submitting photos, 1.20 guidelines for submitting police certificates, 3.7 family office permit, 4.8 guidelines for amending the dates of a work permit, 5.1 sponsored dependents residing and working in Bermuda, 6.4 applications to reside, 7.15 secondments, 7.16 layoffs. Mr. Speaker, the Department of Immigration is prioritizing digitization to improve service efficiency. In response to public feedback, the department is investing in a modern IT system to replace outdated processes, ensuring that the entire application process moves beyond just fillable forms to true digital workflow. The implementation of these upgrades will enable the department to act on valuable suggestions received during consultation once procurement is complete. Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to highlight some of the policies in the 2025 work permit policy, which are now finalized. The processing time for standard, seasonal, and occupational work permits, as well as job title changes and promotions, will remain at 20 days instead of increasing to 30 days. Additionally, the printing of documents will be within 10 days of approval. The requirements for persons to be proficient in English language will apply, generally to persons seeking a new standard work permit. The expectation will be persons who are nationals of countries where English is the native language, and the exceptions will be persons who are nationals of countries where English is the native language, and the policy identifies those countries. Also, those persons who possess a certificate, diploma, or degree from an English language university or college will not be required to provide proof of English language proficiency. For purposes required to settle their affairs and leave Bermuda, the grace period for doing so will remain at 90 days and not be reduced to 60 days. Further, if more time beyond 90 days is required to accommodate school commitments, for example, written justification can be submitted for consideration. To ensure the continued security and safety of our community, police certificates will be required for work permit applicants coming to Bermuda for the first time. The police certificates are required from the applicant's home country plus any country of residence for the 2 years immediately preceding the work permit application. The type of work permit now includes the family office work permit, where family office means a company, limited liability company, partnership, or other legal entity incorporated, registered, or established on behalf of or for the benefit of a single family for the purposes of managing the affairs of that family. The family office work permit is the latest in the suite of options that includes standard, new business, global entrepreneur, fintech, and inter-company, formerly global work permits. In recognition of the need to progress the digitization of the Department of Immigration, the short-term work permit will continue to be available as a bridge to a standard work permit. This was a key concern of employers and is being retained. In response to employers' concerns regarding employees leaving shortly after they have made a significant investment in recruiting and onboarding an employee, and to prevent work permit holders from obtaining multiple permits from different employers simultaneously, work permit holders will be required to complete 2 years of employment with their initial employer. In addition, for a new work permits, job changes will not be approved in the first year after issuance. For renewed work permits, job changes will not be approved within the first 6 months after issuance. I would like to also note that the policy regulating business visitors has been extended at policy 2.1 3W to include utilizing someone for a nonprofit organization, a registered charity, or a religious institution, such as a coach or teacher of sports, clergy, or a speaker. Mr. Speaker, the 2025 work permit policy provides the balance required to ensure that Bermuda remains an attractive and competitive jurisdiction for business, investment, and job creation, while safeguarding and promoting the legitimate aspirations of Bermudians to participate fully in our labor market. Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank all of those who took the time to read and respond to the draft work permit policy. Your input was very much valued, and it impacted the final version of the 2025 work permit policy. The 2025 work permit policy will come into effect on November 1st, 2025, and can be found online at gov.bm. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Members, the next statement this morning is in the name of the Minister of National Security. Minister?
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good
Morning.
morning, colleagues and listening public. Mr. Speaker, today I rise to celebrate with this honorable House the 60th anniversary of the Royal Bermuda Regiment and the proud legacy of service it represents. The regiment's story began on September 1st, 1965, when the Bermuda Militia Artillery and the Bermuda Volunteer Rifle Corps were amalgamated to form one united force. Mr. Speaker, the two units reflected the segregated era in which they were raised. The Bermuda Militia Artillery was predominantly black, while the Bermuda Volunteer Rifle Corps was also entirely white. In the spirit of progress and with a view to strengthening Bermuda's defense capability, they were brought together to create an integrated regiment, a single force in service to all of Bermuda. Over the decades, Mr. Speaker, more than 11,000 Bermudians have worn the regiment's uniform. These men and women, citizen soldiers from every parish and walk of life, have given their time, talent, and courage in the best tradition of service. They have built skills that last a lifetime: discipline, leadership, teamwork, and resilience. The regiment's values remain evident not only on parade, but in our businesses, schools, churches, and neighborhoods. Mr. Speaker, the regiment's Junior Leaders Program continues to thrive, shaping tomorrow's leaders through adventure training, community service, and character development for young people aged 12 to 18. Recent intakes and camps have shown strong interest and impressive growth, underscoring how this pathway builds confidence, civic responsibility, and future leadership for Bermuda. Mr. Speaker, the Royal Bermuda Regiment has answered the call in moments that tested our community's strength and resolve. In December 1977, during the disturbances that followed the executions of two men convicted in the governor's assassination, soldiers were embodied to help restore calm at a moment of great tension and turmoil in our island's history. A few years later, in May 1981, the regiment was again placed on alert during the general strike, when thousands of workers across the public and private sectors walked out over wages and work conditions. On both occasions, the regiment stood ready to support the civil authorities and protect the community, underscoring its vital role in maintaining the stability of our country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members will no doubt recall that the regiment has also provided security support in the aftermath of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. It has valiantly responded to the carnage caused by major hurricanes, among them Hurricane Emily in 1987 and Hurricane Fabian in 2003, both of which inflicted widespread damage across Bermuda. In the aftermath of these destructive storms, the regiment delivered vital assistance alongside our emergency services to return our country to normality. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the regiment was embodied to support Bermuda's public health efforts. 200 soldiers helped staff community advisory points across the island, acted as COVID marshals, assisted in managing testing centers, and supported vaccination clinics. Mr. Speaker, the regiment's service extends beyond our shores. In the spirit of regional solidarity, soldiers deployed to the Cayman Islands in 2004 and to Grenada in 2005 to assist with immediate recovery and long-term rebuilding efforts after Hurricane Ivan. The regiment has also supported the Turks and Caicos Islands during hurricane response operations following Hurricane Ike in 2008 and Hurricanes Irma and Maria in 2017. In addition, Bermudian officers and soldiers have contributed to international assistance, internal security, and training missions, including in Sierra Leone and Barbados, the latter involving the ICC World Cup tournament. These deployments reflect the competence and professionalism of our soldiers, as well as Bermuda's commitment to help our neighbors in times of need. Mr. Speaker, this Diamond Jubilee year brings special celebrations. The regiment has launched a year-long program marking 60 years of service, culminating in a presentation of colors at the Keep, National Museum of Bermuda in Dockyard, on Saturday, October 18th, 2025, followed that evening by an Old Masses Colors Bowl. These events honor the service of past and present soldiers and renew our shared commitment to the future. Mr. Speaker, we are further honored by the forthcoming official visit of Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Gloucester, the regiment's Colonel-in-Chief, from October 16th through October 20th. During her visit, Her Royal Highness will support the regiment's 60th anniversary celebrations, including the presentation of colors, and will undertake a program that includes cultural engagements such as a visit to Masterworks. This will be the Duchess's 4th official visit to Bermuda. On behalf of the government and people of Bermuda, we extend a warm welcome to Her Royal Highness. Today, Mr. Speaker, we salute the thousands who have served, the families who have supported them, and the employers who continue to make service possible. We acknowledge the leadership of the commanding officer and the regiment team, and the stewardship of the governor and commander-in-chief. We also recognize the enduring partnership with our regional and international counterparts, whose collaboration strengthens our operational capability and effectiveness. Mr. Speaker, as we celebrate 60 years of service to this country, we recommit to supporting the regiment's operational readiness, its role in disaster relief and aid to the civil authority, and the development of our next generation through the junior leaders. The Royal Bermuda Regiment remains a pillar of unity, service, and national pride. May its colors continue to inspire the very best of Bermuda for the next 60 years and beyond. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Minister, the next statement is also yours. Would you like to proceed?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Speaker, recent violent incidents have caused understandable concerns across our community. People are asking what is being done, and they deserve clear answers. I rise today to update this Honorable House on the actions being taken by the Bermuda Police Service. The police have responded swiftly, targeting those responsible for the violence and increasing their presence in affected areas. Progress is being made, but lasting safety will only be achieved when the community and the police stand together to combat this blight on our community. Mr. Speaker, the Bermuda Police Service has acted decisively to address heightened tensions in certain areas of the island. Officers are deploying every lawful tool available to disrupt gang activity and bring offenders to justice. This includes targeted stop and search operations, the execution of drug and firearms warrants, and focused beat patrols in North Hamilton. The gang targeting team has been expanded to respond immediately to intelligence leads, while work continues with the Director of Public Prosecutions to review legislation that can strengthen enforcement powers. As part of that review, Mr. Speaker, there will be a focus on strengthening existing provisions that allow for increased penalties where offenses are committed with a bladed article or a firearm. Mr. Speaker, technology is also playing an essential role. The police continue to rely on our CCTV network as a critical tool in both daily operations and criminal investigations. Approximately 400 camera views are now available to officers, and the system has already provided crucial evidence in recent cases. Its effectiveness was demonstrated when officers secured evidence from 10 government CCTV sites following the recent Court Street tragedies. To build on this success, Cabinet will shortly consider the business case for the next phase of CCTV expansion, ensuring that the police are further supported in their work. Mr. Speaker, recruitment and training remain equally important. At present, 15 recruits are completing their training and will graduate in October, with another course of 15 recruits beginning in November. To maintain our momentum to bolster the ranks, another series of advertisements has been placed recently for us to begin an additional round of recruitment. The service acknowledges that attracting officers remains a challenge in Bermuda's tight labor market, but efforts are underway to widen the net. Both local and international recruitment has launched for approximately 22 additional officers arriving in 2026. These steps will strengthen frontline capacity and ensure a sustained police presence in our neighborhoods. Mr. Speaker, I now turn to the most serious investigations before the police. Arrests have been made in relation to violent incidents in North Hamilton, though no charges have yet been filed. The police are working diligently, but they have raised deep concern about the limited number of witness statements received, despite these crimes occurring in broad daylight. No policing strategy can succeed without the support of the community. Too often, those who hold the answers remain silent, and offenders are left free to continue their violence. The police have the tools, the investigators, and the determination to bring perpetrators before the courts, but they cannot do it alone. Every statement matters. Every detail matters. The safety of our neighborhoods depends on the willingness of law-abiding citizens to be brave enough to step forward to help put an end to this madness in our community. I therefore appeal directly to the families, the friends, the co-workers, and the neighbors who may have seen or heard something. Do your part. Silence protects only the criminal. Speaking up protects the community, protects our children, and restores peace to our streets. Mr. Speaker, to support this effort, government has guaranteed rewards of up to $50,000 for information that leads to the arrest and charge of individuals responsible for violent crime. This represents a significant increase from the previous maximum reward of $5,000. Through our partnership with Crime Stoppers, the public continues to have a safe and anonymous avenue to share what they know. This guarantee ensures that anyone with information can come forward anonymously. The police need your information, and Crime Stoppers ensures it can be provided confidentially and with real impact. Mr. Speaker, the Bermuda Police Service is also drawing on international expertise to strengthen its capabilities. Through arrangements secured with the United Kingdom, overseas specialist officers will be deployed for a period of up to 6 months to provide targeted support in investigations and capacity building. Funding is also being provided for advanced surveillance tools, which can be deployed as needed. These measures are interim, designed to bolster our capability while the service continues its own recruitment and long-term capacity building. This is about making smart use of global resources to strengthen policing here at home. Mr. Speaker, alongside these measures, the Bermuda Police Service, in partnership with the Government House and the Ministry of National Security, will host a community town hall on gun and gang violence. It will be held on Monday, the 29th of September, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the St. Paul AME Church Centennial Hall, 59 Victoria Street, Hamilton. At this meeting, His Excellency the Governor, Andrew Murdoch, the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Darren Simons, and I will provide further detail on the actions underway and planned. And members of the public will have the chance to ask questions and share their views. I encourage all residents to attend and to take part in this important national conversation. Mr. Speaker, I close by reaffirming that the Bermuda Police Service remains steadfast in its mission of making Bermuda safer. Through proactive enforcement, strategic use of technology, ongoing recruitment and training, international collaboration, and, most importantly, partnership with the community. The police are working to protect this country. The government will continue to support them with the resources and legislative backing they require. But success depends on us all. I therefore call on every member of this community to play their part, to support the police, and to ensure that those who choose violence are held accountable so that Bermuda remains a safe and secure place for all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Members, that brings us to a conclusion of these statements this morning. We will now move on. Reports of committees, there are none. That takes us to the question period. And this morning we have 7 written questions before we get to the statements. And the first written question this morning is actually a question from the Shadow Finance Minister to Premier and Minister of Finance. And MP Ducout, would you like to put your question?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much. To the Honorable Premier and Minister of Finance, David Burt, will the Honorable Minister please provide for this Honorable House the projected balance of the Tax Refund Reserve Fund as at the end of September 2025? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I respect the right of honorable members to question the government. However, Mr. Speaker, it is in the opinion of the Ministry of Finance, the publication of the precise tax refund reserve fund projection at this juncture would be contrary to the public interest under Standing Order 18.5, and therefore, with your honor's concurrence, I decline to provide those figures and that answer today.
I believe there's been a conversation to explain it to the Shadow Minister. Thank you. Would you like to do your second question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Also to the Honorable Premier and Minister of Finance, will the Honorable Minister please provide for this Honorable House the aggregate amount of the first installment CIT payments for the largest 5, 10, 25, and 50 CIT pairs, where largest is respect to the size of each CIT pair's first installment payment. And just for the record, if you don't mind me, Mr. Speaker, this was originally submitted as a written question, but I understand things happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is in the opinion of the Ministry of Finance that the publication of those figures at this juncture would be contrary to the public interest under Standing Order 18.5. I therefore, with your honor's concurrence, decline to answer the question. However, Mr. Speaker, I do understand this question was supposed to be written, and I have spoken to the Shadow Minister of Finance. Having an understanding of what he is trying to achieve, I will give an undertaking to get him approximate percentage figures rather than the aggregate figures that have been asked, and we'll make sure that information is shared with him so he can prepare for his future debate.
Thank you. Concur?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With your leave, may I make a comment for the record regarding the question?
I know originally it was a written question. It came as went out as an oral question, but I think the Premier has acknowledged the sensitivity of it, and we'll meet with you to provide some background on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. The second question this morning is from the MP Dwayne Robertson, and also to the Premier and the Minister of Finance. Robertson, MP Robertson.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Will the Honorable Premier and Minister of Finance please inform this Honorable House if GenCom has gathered the required funding for the Fairmont Southampton reopening? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, that answer is in the public domain.
Sorry about that. The response that the Premier gave is that it's in the public domain. For those who are listening, any information that is contained in the public domain means that it's already circulated, and the member who's responding doesn't necessarily have to answer the question. He can just refer to the fact that it is already publicly circulating. So you can find the answers in the public information already. Okay. Thank you. You only hit that one question, right? The third question is from MP Robertson. This is to the Minister for Cabinet Office. Put your question, MP.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me see. Will the Honorable Minister please advise this Honorable House when the revised special development order for Fairmont Southampton will be published in the official Gazette and brought before Parliament? Thank you.
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this SDO has been finalized and is subject to cabinet approval. The order will be published thereafter and tabled in the House in the next sitting.
Okay. Okay. Supplementary. You're good. Okay. The next question is in the name of the Shadow Minister of Finance again, MP DeCoute, to the Minister of Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport. Would you like to put your question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the Honorable Minister please provide for this Honorable House the date when he will provide the Ministry's plan for the future of the Pink Route ferry service, including returning to its previous full schedule and operating with a modernized fleet of vessels? Thank you.
Yep, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, per Standing Order 17.5G9, that question and the answer is already in the public domain. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Thank you. Remember, that information is also in the public domain. The next question this morning is to, I think I overlooked one, but yeah. The next question this morning is to the Minister of Home Affairs from MP Fay, who had to step up because of personal matter.
Yes,
And
as
MP
discussed,
Fairman?
Mr. Speaker, I can confirm that I have received the written answers from the Honorable Minister Lightbourne, and thank you for those answers.
And I should have stated that that's the response was to be written, so he's got the answer, so we're satisfied there. And the last question this morning. Yeah, that's what look at. I did. I noticed that. Yep. The question number 7, I'm going to go back to one that we overlooked. But question number 7 is from MP Linda Smith to the Minister of Public Works. MP Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The question is, the Department of Lands and Buildings within the Ministry of Public Works has filed 2 planning applications to facilitate development of commercial enterprises at Southlands National Park. Will the Honorable Minister please provide this Honorable House with some details of the due diligence work that's been conducted by the Ministry prior to filing the 2 planning applications?
Minister.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. And I thank the honorable member for a question. Before I answer the honorable member's question, I wanted to make sure that we are clear on the two planning applications being discussed. The first application being P0086-25 is for the northern side of Southlands Park. It includes a zip line and the restoration of Dapple's Cottage at 77 South Road. This application was submitted in April of 2025 and received support from the National Parks Commission back in February of 2023. The second application, P0157-25, is for the southern side of the park. It proposes a small cafe, public restrooms, a car park, picnic areas, a walking trail, and improvements to the beach access. This application also includes work to protect the cliff face and replant coastal vegetation. It was submitted in June of 2025 and received support from the National Parks Commission in October of 2022, provided we reduce the scale of the cafe and move it away from the cliff edge. The ministry agreed and made those changes prior to submitting. Mr. Speaker, I also want to be clear that these are not the only applications related to Southlands. There have been others focused on restoring existing buildings and carrying out repairs. I also note, Mr. Speaker, that while many picture Southlands as untouched wilderness, the reality is that the property already includes paved pathways and abandoned infrastructure. I make the point simply to say, to those that may not be aware, that development within Southlands already exists. Mr. Speaker, I think it is also important to state that under the Bermuda National Parks Act, the government is not allowed to carry out any major developments in a national park unless there's a management plan in place. Until that plan is approved, only work that preserves or restores the land is allowed. So before anything was filed, we followed the law. The ministry focused only on cleaning up the park and fixing what was broken, including clearing overgrown vegetation, repairing stone walls, quarry gardens, ponds, and historic features. I want to thank the Parks Department, our Public Lands and Buildings Department, and our outside contractors for the excellent work they've done thus far. The Southlands Park Management Plan, which had been in draft form since 2020, was recently finalized and published, and that plan now guides our decisions. Mr. Speaker, I hope that provides a bit of clarity to the honorable member and to the listening audience, and so I will now answer the question more directly by giving a summary of the due diligence we did before filing the applications. In 2017, Southlands was officially made a national park after the land swap with Morgan's Point. It was and still is designated an amenity park, which includes open space, woodland, and old buildings. Some buildings at that time were still in residential use. In November of 2020, the ministry began drafting a park management plan. In January of 2021, we conducted a public survey to hear what the people wanted. If I can generalize, most people wanted the park kept as natural as possible, but they also wanted basic facilities like restrooms and play areas. Some people even suggested zip lines, cafes, and even a petting zoo. In April of 2021, the ministry launched the Southlands Park Improvement Scheme and began works to prevent further damage to the existing buildings. In November of 21 to March of 22, we created a 5-year plan with phase 1 focused on the northern side with pedestrian areas and restored buildings, and phase 2 focused on the southern side with amenities to help people enjoy the park. Mr. Speaker, I ask for your indulgence here as it has come to my attention that many people are unaware that when we refer to the southern side of Southlands, we are referring to the plot of land that is on the other side of the street. That is the plot of land that is left of the westbound lane along South Road. So most of the proposed development is not on the northern side. In fact, the proposal for the lush northern side, is the zip line and to restore the buildings that are already there. All other proposed developments is across the street. In February of 22 to October of 22, work began to clear overgrown areas and clean up the grade 2 listed main house. In September of 22 to March of 23, we invited the public and businesses to share ideas through an expression of interest process. 14 groups responded, suggesting things as zip lines, horseback riding, small cafes, a wellness retreat, Airbnb style stays, petting zoos, and electric car rentals. This is important, Mr. Speaker, because these ideas did not come from Premier Burt. They did not come from my predecessor. They did not come from some cruise line or secret investor. These came from Bermudians. And in March of 22 to submission, our team prepared the 2 applications with input from the Planning Department, Parks Department, and the National Parks Commission. In May of 2023, we set up a Southlands Park panel to help guide us. It includes representatives from parks, public lands and buildings, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Bermuda Tourism Authority, and the Department of Planning. This group helped us think through how best to use the land without damaging it, and to make sure we meet the needs of both locals and visitors. In late 2022 to 2023, we consulted with the National Parks Commission, the Bermuda National Trust, and Audubon Society. Based on their feedback, the ministry made several changes, including scaling the restaurant down to a smaller cafe, reducing the building size from around 9,000 square feet to under 5,000 square feet, and possibly as low as 3,000 square feet. Moving the cafe further from the cliff, improve bike parking, adding solar energy and EV charging stations. Again, all of these amendments were made to the application based off of the consultation with those various entities. In April of 23 to 24, the zip line was selected for phase 1, using an existing building. It received support at that time and is now awaiting final approval. In March of 25, before submitting the applications, the ministry hired Brunel Limited to do a traffic impact study to make sure parking and access would be made safe and manageable. Mr. Speaker, I believe this timeline shows that we've done our homework. The ministry has taken careful, thoughtful, and a transparent approach. We followed the law, consulted widely, and made meaningful changes based on public feedback. However, even with that being said, I maintain that no final decision has been made. Both applications are still under review. The Planning Department is awaiting formal feedback from the Parks Commission. Once that comes in, I will review all recommendations and feedback before making any decision. At the heart of this is a simple goal: to bring Southlands back to life in a way that respects nature, honors history, and gives the public better access and enjoyment without overdevelopment. We will move forward carefully with all voices in mind, each step of the way. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Supplementary questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Yes.
Will the Honorable Minister please inform this Honorable House as to whether there are or have been any arrangements or discussions with a cruise line or cruise lines for the use of Southlands Park, the beach, and proposed new facilities that are included in these planning applications?
Mr. Speaker, do I have to repeat what I do?
You
Say?
can resp-
Was
you
it
can
clear?
respond. I think
Was it
it's a
clear
short
from the
response.
statement?
I think it was a
So the
very
answer
short
is
response.
no.
Yes.
Thank you very
Second
much.
second sub?
Yes, I do, please. So I have a question that is specific to the application for the zip line facility in the park itself. which the application says is a public-private partnership. My question is, considering that this is a PPP, what is the public taxpayer's role in this public-private partnership? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, it sounds like a second question rather than a supplementary,
Yeah,
but I'll
I'm
take
trying
your
to- I'm
guidance.
trying to feed it through. I'm trying to remember your statement, your response, and that you did. Yeah. All right. You got me. Okay. All right. I'm trying to remember your response. You indicated that there would be different pieces in it. You didn't specifically reference to the fact that it was a public-private entity that was taking place. I'm trying to see how that fitted into the response, because your supplementary questions aren't supposed to be new questions. They're supposed to be questions that are fed off the statement, off the response that was given to the first question. I'm just trying to tie the two in. If you worded it a little different, it may fit, but we're stretching it a bit there.
Okay. Sorry. My question is there a public-private partnership involved in the application that is under discussion and is the matter of interest that we're discussing this morning?
Yes, that can float.
And if so, what is the public's part in that?
Go ahead, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I would say that these are ongoing negotiations, and as I ended the remarks, no final decision has been made.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You should too, Sept. Members, before the questions that were done this morning for written questions, it seems I omitted one when we were moving along this morning. I think I omitted a question from MP Mayor Robertson. He had a couple down. He had three down. We had done two. We missed the third one. The question was to the Minister of Tourism and Transport, Culture and Sport. And MP, would you like to put that question? It's actually number 4 on your order paper there.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appreciate that.
Question.
Will the Honorable Minister please confirm to this Honorable House that the progress of construction and renovation of the Fairmont Southampton Hotel is on track for the stated spring 2026 reopening?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Construction continues apace. And at this stage, the expectation remains for an opening of the 2026 season. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementaries?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Can the minister tell this Honorable House how frequently he is in communication or meetings with GenCom to get these updates? Thank you.
Well, Mr. Speaker, as the honorable member is the MP for the area, I'm sure he can see, just as all of us can see, that there is considerable construction work happening at the Fairmont Southampton. And as the minister responsible for tourism, I'm sure he will know that I speak to anyone in the tourism industry as much as I possibly can. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You okay? Your response? You're fine. Okay. All right. Members, that brings us to the end of the written questions. There are a couple of members who have questions regarding the statements this morning. And the first is the statement premier that you made in reference to the bank and deposits. MP Dakuda would like to put a question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Premier referred to consultation with the relevant members of industry in crafting these regulations. Could the Premier share with this House briefly some of the top topics that arose out of that consultation or top concerns of the industry? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, those matters are the public domain and can be found on the Bermuda Monetary Authority website.
Okay. Supplementary question?
Could the Premier confirm that no issues arose that have not been included in that public consultation? Thank you.
Premier?
If the honorable member has a specific question, I will probably be better to answer rather than the hypotheticals of which he's posing, because I do not even know how to respond to that. What I can say is that this regime was promised, it has been delivered, and we're going to move forward to further banking fee reform, because the reality are that the people of this country need to make sure they have fair access to banking services, and this government will deliver it.
Okay. Additional sub or new question? No more? Okay, thank you. The next question this morning is for the statement from the Minister of Transport in reference to the Shore Link, and that's from MP Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I'd like to commend the minister on the progress made with the SureLink app that has definitely assisted a lot of people. My thank you. My question is just about capacity. I may have missed it in the minister's statement, but could the minister confirm whether or not capacity will be shown for the buses that attract and ferries that attract? Because I know a lot of people during the tourism season, unfortunately, we're a tourist place, but people are left sometimes standing on the side of the road, even though the buses come due to capacity. So just wanted to know if that's in the works. Thank you.
Minister?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As of right now, the app just simply shows live locations. And as the honorable member from the other side will know, that with technology, there always can be additions and ways that, as I said in my statement, that we can improve the app to better serve the public. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Supplementary?
Just one supplemental, which is just to confirm that I can have the minister's support in taking that back and ensuring that that capacity issue is taken on board and worked on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We will review all operational factors of this app. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Members, the next statement this morning that has questions is a statement from the Minister of National Security. Minister, you have two members who wish to ask questions. So first, I'll go with the opposition leader first. Opposition leader, would you like to put your question?
Good morning, honorable members.
Morning.
And the listening public. My question is relation to the increased police numbers as a result of the consultation and cooperation with the British government. My question is, will the increase in police numbers also include consideration for community police officers, dedicated traffic division, and school resource officers, knowing that they played a key role in addressing gang violence? Thank you.
Minister?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Most definitely.
Supplementary?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Minister, the next member who has a question for you is MP Tucker. MP Tucker?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. Good morning to you and to the listening audience and colleagues. I would like to ask the Honorable Minister, out of his statement, he said that there were 400 camera views. I just wanted to know out of how many. So 400 being operational, how many are not? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In answer to the honourable member's question, when all the cameras are online and fully functioning, we will have 456. So 400 are now operational and recording. So we're still working on the other 56.
Okay. Supplementary?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Can the minister tell us when they expect to have the other 56 cameras fully operational? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mm-hmm.
For clarity, it's the views that are in question. It's 456 total views once the system is all up and fully functioning, and it's an ongoing project. So as we speak, more and more of the views are coming online, and hopefully in the next few months, everything will be up and fully functional.
May I ask a second supplemental?
Yes.
Can the minister clarify what he means when he says views versus having the cameras fully operational? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Some of the cameras have pan, tilt, zoom. Some of the cameras have more than one view, look left, look right, and whatnot. So each camera presents a different option. So some cameras have one, maybe two views. Some of the cameras may have three, maybe four views.
So the 400 cameras up is just now modifying the views, so you get the other 56. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a second question, if
Sure.
that's okay.
Yeah.
So my second question is, obviously, the statement was with regard to an update on the policing operations and community safety. So what I would like to know is what metrics the ministry is using to track the effectiveness of the policing and violence prevention strategy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister?
They're using statistics, but ultimately it's going to be success. You know, it's so I'm trying to talk about how we're going to measure it. It's the data that the police are using to be driven by, and between that data and intelligence and community involvement and the like. I don't know if I've answered that. I'm not too certain what you're asking me.
Do you need a supplementary?
That's fine. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Members, no supplementaries. That brings us to a close of the question and answer period this morning. And let me just stop the cameras. And we'll now move on to the next item on our order paper today, which is here we go now. Here we go. Congratulatory and obituary speeches. Would any member wish to make a contribution? Junior Minister, you have your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to extend my deepest condolences to the Young and Burgess family on the passing of Mr. Keith Winslow Young and his beautiful and beloved wife, Mrs. Charlotte Gwendolyn Young, who left this world within just days of each other. Mr. Speaker, to be married for 66 years is itself a testimony of love, faith, and endurance. Together, they were a great couple. Mr. Young, a brilliant carpenter, built more than homes. He built trust, respect, and a reputation for excellence. Mrs. Young, through Gwendolyn's Wonderland on Redden Road, nurtured children and families with compassion and care. As a young politician, Mr. Speaker, knocking on their doors, I was always received with kindness, wisdom, and encouragement. Their words helped to shape my own journey, and I know many others were equally touched by their example. Mr. Speaker, theirs was a life of service, of faith, and of love, a partnership that stood as a beacon for all of us. Though they are gone, their legacy will live on in their family they raised and the community they enrich. I extend heartfelt, and I'm sure members of this honorable house, condolence to Bishop Duncan, First Lady Chandra Duncan, and the entire family. May they be confident in knowing that Keith and Charlotte Young now rest together as they lived side by side. Mr. Speaker, I close with these words of scripture. They fought a good fight. They finished their course. They kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for them a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give them this day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any other member? MP Linda Smith, two Smiths, but Linda Smith. Ladies first today. Ladies first. How's that?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to rise today to recognize Habitat for Humanity Bermuda, which is celebrating its 25th anniversary this week. And for the past 25 years, Habitat Bermuda has been transforming lives. It has completed over 4 small renovation projects that have improved the lives of approximately 1,600 Bermudians. The projects are benefiting mostly vulnerable people, including single mothers and with children and the elderly. And beyond the renovations that Habitat Bermuda have done on their own, they've also been involved in several projects that have been more community-based. An example would be the Transformational Living Center, which is now Home for Families, that was built to accommodate up to 10 homeless women with their children and offer a safe environment for them. Habitat was also involved in the renovation of the St. James Rectory, which is now Bridge House. And that was a collaboration with the Anglican Church of Bermuda and the Bermuda Hospitals Board. It was derelict and it has been transformed into a residential treatment center, which is benefiting 8 individuals. There's also Grace Place, an affordable housing initiative in Devonshire that's been made possible by an anonymous donor to Habitat. And Habitat repurposed that derelict property into 4 affordable apartments specifically for single mothers. All of these things have been accomplished through community fundraising and fundraising events that they have held over the years, as well as their Restore store, which actually started on Pitts Bay Road in what was formerly Heritage House and has subsequently moved to King Street. They sell gently worn furniture and housewares, and all of that goes to the betterment of Bermuda. They do not receive at the moment any government funding, and they, like so many other charities, are contributing so much to Bermuda and to helping government and the community deal with some of these serious problems that we have. So I'd like to extend a congratulations and thank you to Habitat Bermuda. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other member? MP Bansmith, you have your 3 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning. Firstly, I'd like to give condolences to the family of Patria Simons from Cross Bay, Southampton. I'd like to associate MP Robinson. She was one of my mom's best friends. She was one of the oldest people in Southampton at her passing. Specific condolences to her son, Wendell, and to her granddaughter, Jasmine. I know that they are missing her now. And my true condolences to the entire family. I'd also like to give condolences to the family of Maisie Tucker, one of my mom's sisters, who recently passed after a battle with cancer. Both my cousins, Roy and Kelly Tucker, I know that they are both really torn up with the loss of their mother. Attending the service on Sunday at the Hamilton Seventh-day Adventist Church, I'd like to thank them for a really great service, specifically to Pastor Manders, who really did an awesome job bringing it together. Although my aunt asked for blue to be the color that everyone wore because that was her favorite color, he made sure to remind everybody that she was a Somerset girl from a Somerset family. And he was also happy to remind everybody that when she passed, Somerset continued to hold the cup. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any other member? MP Fergo?
Yes.
Like your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Ms. I won't take three.
Comments, right?
No, I do not. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm just standing to my feet to give condolences for the loss of young Miss Miners. Her mom, sister, and many of her relatives are constituents who live in St. David's. In fact, the Miners family is a St. David's family. It's tragic how we have come to lose her. And it says much to, I will definitely associate. It says much to the efforts that we as a community will and should be engaging in. But I just think that this House, and I want to associate the Premier and the Minister of National Security in particular, Minister Vance Campbell. I am going to associate the House, but I did want to point them out in particular. With these condolences, and we do hope that the House does send a letter to the family, which I think will go a long way, and during their time of bereavement. So, Mr. Speaker, please ensure that our House does send the family a letter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is any other MP Tucker? You have your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to offer condolences to the family of Mrs. Dorothy Ferbert. She is a member of my church, and I've known her for quite a number of years. She is an absolute lovely, lovely, lovely lady. So just want to express condolences to Rusty and Antoinette Ferbert and the wider Ferbert families, as well as the Better Covenant Christian Fellowship family as well. I also would like to express condolences to the family of one of my constituents, and her name is Mrs. Patricia DaCosta. She always had a story for me. She's a proud granny and always had a story for me when I canvassed her house about things that her grandchildren was doing. Very sort of vivacious lady, didn't sort of leave anyone guessing as to what she was thinking. So just wanted to make mention and ask that condolences go to her family as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, MP. Does any other member wish to rise? MP Swan, you have
Yes.
your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like for a suitable letter to be sent to two couples just coincidentally visiting Bermuda this week for different reasons. Bob and Barb Lippman are in Bermuda for the second time this year, celebrating their 30th anniversary. They're longtime visitors to Bermuda, former owners of timeshare at St. George's Club. I declare my interest. I know them very well, as I did many of the owners and residents of the St. George's Club. They made Bermuda their second home. After the timeshare expired, they didn't return to Bermuda, but Bermuda remained on their hearts many times. So for their 30th anniversary, they've chosen to come to Bermuda twice, and we've been able to interact and show them a good time. And Bermuda remains a special place in their hearts forever, as they do ours. And there are many Bob and Barb Lippmans out there around the world. And another couple in Bermuda, Joe and Caroline Hart, were the beneficiaries of a Bermuda-themed auction that I helped to initiate last year when I was convalescing in hospital, and helped to put on a charitable event, helped to support a charitable event in the UK, where the prize was a Bermuda vacation. Thanks to Ms. Laura Paroy at St. George's Club, we were able to put together a 4-night Bermuda stay. And thanks to Danny O'Connor and Alfred and Geza down at Whitehorse, and Alfred and Geza at Wahoo, and Livio at Bella Vista, Port Royal Golf Course, Belmont Golf Course, Turtle Hill Golf Course, and Ocean View Golf Course. We were able to put together a nice package that they were able to spend a couple of £1,000 to get a Bermuda vacation, of which they extended it to 7 days, and even taken Bermuda Air to the U.S. To experience the East Coast of the United States. But the only way they could redeem that prize was to come and fly to Bermuda, which they had done, and we're very appreciative of that. And I'd like to associate my colleagues, Mr. Terrell, and the entire House, because this is the type of relationship building tourism that made Bermuda very successful. And I just want to thank these persons, and many of them, like the ones sitting in the gallery today, who choose to visit Bermuda. I will provide the name of the couple that's here today at the invitation of the opposition leader, they said, but they write about Bermuda. They love Bermuda, and they'll spend a lot of time in Bermuda. Relationship building is the key, and I want to thank those couples that I've mentioned today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Does any other member? Mr. Whip, would you like to have your 3 minutes?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning, colleagues. Mr. Speaker, last evening at the St. Mary's Church Hall, there was a town hall presentation put on by the Warwick Parish Council. And let me declare my interest first by saying that I'm the chairman of the Warwick Parish Council. And the presentation was actually on strokes and survival support. Our presenter was actually a survivor herself, Mrs. K. Dell Hayward, who gave us her experience of having suffered a stroke and her 18 years of experiencing it at this time. She's well improved in what she can do and what she couldn't do previously. Her husband also significantly had during that period a stroke himself, so they were able to support each other. But he is her main support in terms of her survival anyway. And I would certainly feel that the House should send something of support to her. She is a very community-minded person who helps other people as well, and she's spreading her story. And when she asked us at the Warwick Parish Council if we would entertain her, I guess, at a town hall, we quickly agreed. We didn't think that we were going to get much attendance, but I can say that the attendance was well above our expectation. And again, I would like to give her thanks for coming and giving her experience during having had a stroke. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. MP DeCudo, would you like your 3 minutes?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would like for us to, I would personally like to extend the best wishes to the people of the Azores as they have endured Hurricane Gabrielle last night and this morning. We here in Bermuda know what it is to go through a storm. And of course, many of us in Bermuda have friends and family in those islands. And so we wish them a speedy recovery from any damage or things that have affected them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Is any other member? MP Famous.
Morning, Mr. Speaker.
Morning.
Relax. He's eating into my tongue. Can I get a reset, please?
We'll take yours tomorrow, next week.
Mr. Speaker, I want to rise to say condolences to one of my neighbors and one of my constituents, Mr. Derek Bento of Devon Spring Lane. And also, Mr. Speaker, a good friend of mine, a schoolmate, vice president at Marketplace, Mr. Vernon Hassel.
Yes.
Who else wants to be associated? Vernon was a studious person in school, never got in trouble, and started off as a packing bags at Marketplace and worked his way right up to vice president. I think that's the title. Mr. Derek Bento lived on Devon Spring Lane, and he was one of those that helped to take care of the compound unofficially. And he always had some, let's just say, cats that he took care of in the neighborhood. Mr. Speaker, last week, the mother island of many Bermudians celebrated 42 years of independence, St. Kitts and Nevis. I dare say 3/4 of this house can say that their grandparents or someone came from St. Kitts and Nevis. Some have parents even from St. Kitts and Nevis. I say that as an example when they say, oh, a country is too small or small population, they can't go independent. St. Kitts is a population less than Bermuda. They're independent, and since they've been independent, the GDP has only grown, Mr. Speaker. The people have flourished so that they help to demystify the lies of independence. Mr. Speaker, finally, I may be the first one to say it, but I'm not going to be the last one to say it, that there's someone in her, two people in her who celebrate birthdays this week. One is standing up and one is sitting down. His ducking. Happy birthday to the Minister of National Security, who's had a very busy couple months. MP Honorable Michael Weeks. And as importantly, the 37th Member of Parliament, the Sergeant of Arms, Sergeant Major Honor Allen.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Does any other member wish to make a contribution at this time? MP Adams?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll be brief, but I just wanted to send congratulatory remarks to Mr. Sean Simons because he and his team just last weekend, and I will associate the Deputy Premier in those remarks as well, he and his team helped to organize a block party last weekend that I was fortunate enough to attend. And I can certainly attest to the fact that it was heartwarming to know that in times like these, I was able to attend an event where we had men and women from all ages, men and women from all walks of life, all joining together in a neighborhood in fellowship. And if we talk about these certain times in these that we're in, I believe one of those elements is community involvement. And so it was appreciative to have him put that together. I appreciate the participants that all joined, and also the fundraising efforts that were made, because I believe some funds went to the Parfit family in their times of need. And so it was a great community event for me to be a part of. And I just wanted to send those remarks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Does any other member wish to? MP De Silva, Deputy Premier, you have your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Be remiss if I didn't stand to my feet and associate.
After those comments, yes.
Yes, with Mr. Sean Simons, who just also happens to be my branch chair. Sean has started this several years ago, and it's grown in popularity. And I can say nothing more than to give many hearty thanks to the efforts that he put in to pull this off. I have to also agree with my colleague, Mr. Josh A. Adams, in that with the thoughts that went out to the Parfit family. We all know that they suffered a severe tragedy just a short time ago. So it was very nice. And she was there. I happen to know Ms. Parfit quite well, and I know she is very appreciative of the donation that was given to her. Whilst I'm on my feet, Mr. Speaker, I would also like this House to send condolences out to Eugene Shingeling, Tony Cabral, who passed away a couple of weeks ago. And Shingeling was a bit of a character. He has lived in Devonshire, and was a friend of mine for many, many years. And of course, he was a very special individual indeed. And he will be sorely missed by a group of people that used to take an annual trip with Shingeling. So he will be greatly missed.
Thank you. Any other member wish to make a contribution at this time? MP Ming, you have your 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry. Good morning, Mr. Speaker and listening audience. I already have been associated, but I definitely wanted to acknowledge the birthday of Sergeant at Arms today at his ripe age of 75. Looks good and is doing well for himself. And I'm sure he could still, put a few of us on the ground. But I really am on my feet today because I would like to acknowledge a young Bermudian woman that's doing things in big spaces. And I'm sure I'll associate the entire house of this. Shiona Torini, who won an Emmy Award for, and I'm going to read it so I make sure I say it correctly, outstanding costumes for variety, nonfiction, or reality programming. And if you follow her, you know that she would design the outfit for Beyonce in her Bill concert, and she's now won an Emmy. So whilst it may be an Emmy right now, I'm thinking that we're looking at big things for this young lady as she designs. And we also appreciate that she includes Bermuda in her designing, because Beyonce wore a ring that had been designed by David Rose, which is a business that started in St. George's. And Shiona is incorporating her Bermudian heritage into her talent. And for that, we appreciate her. And we want to make sure that we acknowledge the work that she's doing and how she is placing herself on a global stage, but also bringing Bermuda with her. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Would any other member like to make a contribution at this time? MP Robertson, you have your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just really quickly, and I'd like to associate the member from C7 and C31. We had the privilege of Miss Chardonnay Rollins, who is the founder of Simply Bloom, to lend her expertise to connecting with youth and adolescents, which at a time like this, where I believe we need to be doing a lot more as individuals to try and connect with the young people in our lives and in our surrounding bubble. I wanted to thank her for giving some of her time to giving us tips and tricks on how to better support the youth and adolescents in our life, and also to be a good support system for them during times where a lot of our young people are exposed to trauma early, loss of life and loss of their friends and loved ones. So I want to just give a thank you, and I commend her work in that space. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any other member wish to make a contribution at this time? Premier?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to be associated with the condolences offered by the Honorable Deputy Speaker on the passing of Ms. Janae Miners. And certainly I know the Deputy Speaker associated the entire House, but I do hope that we can make sure that the House will send a letter to Ms. Miners' family. Mr. Speaker, I'd also like to be associated with the condolences offered by the Honorable Member for Constituency Number 11, MP Chris Famous, on the passing of Mr. Vernon Hassel. I know that all members were associated, but I did want to take the time to make sure that I rose to my feet and express condolences to his family. I would also like to be associated with the remarks given by the Junior Minister of Finance to the condolences to the family of Keith Young and Charlotte Young as well, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask the Honorable House to send a letter of condolence to the family of Mr. Norris Steed, who is a constituent of mine in C18, someone whom I know well, and a fellow suffering West Ham fan such as myself. However, Mr. Speaker, I could always count on him to be there in the neighborhood at that time, and it is unfortunate that he has passed away. He certainly serves as a caregiver to his partner, and certainly there's going to be help and support that's going to be needed through this time. Mr. Speaker, you know I rarely do birthday greetings during congrats and obits, but I would like to extend a congratulations and a happy birthday to one of my prized constituents, and that is none other than Miss Wilma Frith, who celebrated her 90th birthday last week. She had a birthday party. Unfortunately, I was traveling, so I was unable to be in attendance, but she was surrounded by her children, grandchildren, church family, and I just want to make it known that I would like to say happy birthday, Miss Frith. Sorry I missed it, but I'm happy that my family was there to enjoy your 90th birthday celebration. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Does any other member wish to make a contribution at this time? Any other? There are none. Before we move on, I'd just like to add my name to some of that have been expressed already, particularly to the families of Mr. Hassel, to the Young family on the passing of both Mr. and Mrs. Young, to Mr. Derek Bento, who's a fellow church member of mine, and to the birthday wishes to the sergeant, of course, and to the minister. But Sarge, everybody were a little shocked when they heard the age. They didn't realize that, Sarge. You're doing well, Sarge. How's that? But congratulations to you. And lastly, I'd just like to add, many of this community are affiliated with Oakwood University. And today, actually right now, as we sit here, the inauguration is taking place of the 12th president of Oakwood. But it's the first. It's the first female who had the institution. And I'd just like to acknowledge that, and that Dr. Gina Spryshey Brown will now be the new president of Oakwood, who's replacing the former president who has retired earlier this year. So with those remarks, we can move on. The next item on the order paper this morning is the matters of privilege. There are none. Personal explanations, there are none. Notice of motions for the adjournment of the House on matters of urgent public importance, there are none. Introduction of bills. There are 2 bills to be introduced by government and a 3rd bill by the opposition. The government bill will be introduced by the Minister of National Security. Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am introducing the following bill for its first reading so that it may be placed on the order paper for the next day of meeting. The Revenue Amendment Act 2025.
Thank you. And there's a bill in the name of Minister Furbert, who's off island. Yes, Minister Darrell. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm introducing the following bill for its first reading so that may be placed on the order paper for the next day of meeting. The Charities Amendment Act 2025. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank Thank you. And opposition, bill?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Per the provisions of Standing Order 28-1, I move for leave to introduce and read a bill for the first time by its title only. Mr. Speaker, I am introducing the following bill for its first reading so that it may be placed on the order paper for the next day of meeting. The Absentee Voting Act 2025.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there are no private members' bills. There's a notice of motion in the name of the MP Decoud. Would you like to put your bill?
Yes,
Your
thank
motion.
you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby give notice that at the next day of meeting, I propose to move the following motion: that this honorable House take note of the opportunities, challenges, and risks to Bermuda arising from Bermuda's corporate income tax. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. That brings us to a close of the bills and motions. The next item on the order paper, orders of the day. And the first order this morning is the second reading of National Pension Scheme Occupational Pension Amendment Act 2025 in the name of the Junior Minister of Finance. Junior Minister, would you like to present your matter? Oops.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just get it sorted out here.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill entitled the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pension Amendment Act 2025 now be read the second time.
Any objections? There are none. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, the security of retirement savings is one of the most important commitments that any government can make to its people. Our national pension scheme represents not only a safeguard for the future of Bermudians, but also a pillar of confidence in our financial system. Today, I rise to present for the consideration of this honorable House the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pension Amendment Act 2025, a bill designed to strengthen oversight, protect plan members, and ensure fairness in the administration of pension funds. Mr. Speaker, you and I we're the only members in this honorable House when the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pension Act 1998 passed. The act established the foundational framework for private sector occupational pension plans in Bermuda. Since then, it has been amended to address the changing requirements of both employees and retirees. The National Pension Scheme Occupational Pension Act authorizes the Minister of Finance to enact regulation concerning, amongst other provisions, the maximum fees that may be charged for services relating to pension plans, life annuities, or pension funds. The act became operational on January 1st, 2000. And over the years, a number of amendments to the act and regulations have been introduced to provide for various matters. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to provide the following statistics received from the Pension Commission as of December 31st, 24, based on estimates and actual data received from plan administrators. The national pension contained 53,741 plan members, former members. There were a total of 3,267 employer plans, 3,253 defined contributions, and 14 defined benefits. Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of the honorable members, a defined benefit plan is a pension plan that provides a benefit determined in advance based upon various factors such as levels of earnings and length of employment. A defined contribution plan is a pension plan that provides a benefit determined solely with reference to the value of invested accumulated contributions. The total value of assets under the National Pension Scheme was $4.29 billion, consisting of $2.81 billion in employer plans and $1.48 billion in approved local retirement products. There were 486 self-employed plans. Mr. Speaker, the National Pension Scheme permits a number of refunds to be approved for plan members during their employment years as well as upon reaching retirement age. In particular, the following refunds are granted: financial hardship refunds for eligible mortgage arrears, rental arrears, uncovered medical expenses, educational expenses, and funeral expenses. Small pension plans for those reaching the age of 65, like my friend Mr. Weeks, with $50,000 and under pension fund account balances. Lump sum refunds for those reaching normal retirement age up to 25% of an application pension fund account balance, and the first-time homeowner refunds. Mr. Speaker, these additional refunds have provided timely and substantial financial support to Bermudans, and I'm pleased to provide the following summary of currently available refunds payments since their inception up to 15th of August 2025. Financial hardship refunds, $43.8 million. Small pension funds, $18.5 million. 25% lump sum refunds, $97.05 million. First-time homeowner refunds, $250,000. Mr. Speaker, honorable members will recall that last year the Minister of Finance advised that the government would, after consultation with domestic pension plan administrators, introduce specific regulation to prescribe limitations on the amount of administrative fees that can be charged to pension plan members. Mr. Speaker, as part of the introduction, it is necessary to ensure the Commission has the power to impose civil penalties should the regulations not be complied with. This is the purpose of the bill before us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Junior Minister, does any member wish to make a contribution? Shadow Minister of Finance, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We support this bill because the bill per se is about enabling the later regulations, and we understand that the government may wish to make new regulations from time to time that this bill would support. While we do have further remarks regarding the administration's fees, we will keep those until we discuss that particular legislation. And we are grateful to the minister for providing the information in the statement that he did. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, thank you, member. Does any other member wish to make a contribution? Any other member? None? Junior Minister?
I'd like to thank the opposition for the support. And, Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be committed.
Yep. Deputy Speaker?
Members, we are now in committee on the bill entitled the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pensions Amendment Act 2025. Minister? Junior Minister? Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill seeks to amend the national, first of all, I'd like to move all clauses, clause 1 to 3.
It has been moved that clauses 1 through 3 be considered at this time. Any objections? None. Continue.
This bill seeks to amend the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pensions Act 1998 to enable the Commission to impose civil penalties in the case of any contravention on a provision of the regulations made under this act. I would like to move clause 1. Clause 1 is self-explanatory. Clause 2 and 3, as I said, Madam Chair. Clause 2 amends Section 68A1C of the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pensions Act 1998 by deleting the words "the National Pension Scheme General Regulations 1999" and substituting the words "of regulations made under this act." Clause 3 provides for the minister to cause the act to come into operation by notice published in the Gazette. Thank you.
Thank you, member. Are there anyone others who may wish to speak to clauses 1 through 3 at this time? There are no others, Minister?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the preamble be approved.
It has been moved that the preamble be approved. Any objections? There are none. Continue.
I move that the bill be reported to the House.
It has been moved that it has been moved that clauses 1 through 3 be approved. Any objections? None. And it has been moved that the bill be
Reported to the House.
reported to the House as written. Any objections to that? There are none. So moved.
If it's not here, we're moving on. It's going to lose out. Members, are there any objections to the bill entitled the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pension Amendment Act being reported to the House as printed? There are none. It has been reported to the House. I'm going to hold my breath for 2 seconds and then we're moving on. Your minister's asked for a change, it's not in the House. Yeah. Oh, they tell me 1 and 2. 2 and 4? Okay. No, your whip just told me 1 and 2. Junior Minister, you can continue on the next item. Members, let me introduce the next item. The next item is the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pensions Administration Fees Regulations 2025 in the name of the Junior Minister. Junior Minister?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that consideration be given to the draft regulations entitled the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pensions Administration Fees Regulations 2025. Proposed to be made.
Okay, you're finished. Yeah.
Proposed to be made by the Minister of Finance in exercise of the power conferred by Section 69(1) JB and Q of the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pensions Act 1998, and after consultation with the Pension Commission.
Are there any objections or none? Continue.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today with great pride and responsibility, particularly under the leadership of the Minister of Finance and the Premier, to lay the National Pension Scheme Occupational Pensions Administration Fees Regulations 2025. These regulations represent an important reform, one that will protect workers, ensure fairness in the pension system, and safeguard the retirement security of Bermudians for generations to come. Mr. Speaker, occupational pensions are the foundations of retirement income for most Bermudians. For this reason, every dollar saved must be preserved for the benefit of the worker, not lost to excessive fees. High charges weaken confidence in the system, erode savings, and reduce the quality of life in retirement. It was in this context that the Pension Commission commissioned a detailed review of pension plan administration fees, supported by an independent consultant. On 23rd of February, 2022, the Commission received the consultant's report and a summary of its analysis and findings as follows. The deleterious impact of costs on pension savings, the trend in costs worldwide over the past 20 years, an overview of legal caps in OECD countries. A small increase in member-borne fees had the effect of transferring material savings from savers to the industry service providers. A high majority of jurisdictions reported legal caps on member-borne pensions to costs. The combined investment and administration fees by third-party plan administrators in Bermuda was an average of 2% of assets held. There were extreme variability around the average fees charged by third-party administrators in Bermuda, with the average high cost of administrators examined at 3.3%, and an average low cost was 0.69%. Costs were split roughly between administration and investment management. In other words, approximately one half of the members' born fees was paid to administrators, and one half was paid to investment funds and their managers. And comparable costs in Canada, the US, the UK, and the EU was 0.99% of assets held, roughly half of the average cost charged to plan members in Bermuda. After the Commission's review and discussions of the consultant's report, it was agreed that consultation with industry stakeholders should be undertaken, and the Commission utilized a standing advisory committee, which is made up of advisory committee, which is made up of representatives of employer and union groups, plan administrators, other plan service providers, and the international company sector. The advisory committee was provided with an executive summary of the report and invited to discuss its contents and findings. The committee subsequently met on a number of occasions to discuss the findings, and the committee's members were invited to make recommendations to the Commission on the proposed to introduce limitations on planned administration fees and any related matters. Not all committee members made submissions to the Commission. However, the majority of those that did respond were unsurprisingly not in support of introducing limitations on administration fees. Not surprising. Recognize that the government was likely to proceed with some form of limitation. A few members suggested a phasing in of any fee limitation, a sliding scale of fees based on assets under management, lower fees for individuals' plans, various groups' plans, amongst a number of other recommendations. Members will recall that in July 2024, the Minister of Finance provided a ministerial statement advising that after consultation with the Pension Commission and industry representatives, it had been decided to introduce fee caps on pension plans administration fees, with the regulations introduced in 2025. It should be noted that from the years 2000 to 2023, it is estimated that plan administrators collectively have earned gross administration fees from their group and individual plans of over $500 million, based upon the typical plan administration fee of 1.5% of a plan member's pension fund balance. Mr. Speaker, the proposed regulations are primarily aimed at assisting those with smaller pension plans by requiring lower administration fees to be charged. However, those with large balances will also benefit from the fee caps. Using the proposed fee limitations in the regulation and the average assets held by plan members as defined in defined contribution pension plans and local retirement products at the end of 2023, it was calculated that this would equate to an estimated annual savings on average for each plan member with balances over $50,000 of $649, representing $73,000 in total savings over a 37-year employment cycle at an average annual return of 5%. For those plan members with small pension plans of up to $50,000, annual savings were estimated at between $153 to $103 per annum, representing over $17,000 to $20,000 in total savings over a 37-year employment cycle. Mr. Speaker, this is enormous. The reason for using 37 years to retirement age 65 is that from age 23, when employees are normally enrolled in a plan, it takes approximately 5 years to accumulate more than $50,000 using an average annual return of 5%. After taking into consideration the findings of the report, industry discussions, and advice from the Commission, and recognizing the long-term detrimental impact on retirement pension fund account balances from high fees charged to pension plan members, the government has decided that some limitations of the amount of fees that administrators charge for plan should be introduced as specified in the regulations. Mr. Speaker, during the review, it was also identified that some administrators were receiving investment advisory fees for which they were not providing such service directly. It has been decided to prohibit such fees from being received as it fell outside of the scope of plan administration services. Mr. Speaker, the government is not insensitive to the financial implication that the proposed limitations will have on the plan administrators and will provide a transition period before such regulations become operative. This will provide the Commission and the industry with further time to effectively implement the requirements on the regulation. It is expected the regulation will commence in early 2026. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, the regulation will introduce clear and enforceable caps on administration fees, prohibit the receipt of investment advisory fees where no service is provided, and establish penalties for violations. Importantly, there will be a transition period to allow administrators and industry to adjust. This ensures fairness to all parties while prioritizing the need of pension members. Mr. Speaker, this initiative reflects this government's wider commitment to financial fairness, transparency, and the protection of workers. It also another promise fulfilled, outlined in the throne speech, and now delivered through these regulations. I would like to acknowledge the tireless effort of the Minister of Finance, the Ministry of Finance, the Attorney General's Chambers, the Pension Commission, and all those who contributed to this process. Their work has produced regulations that are fair, balanced, and in the best interest of the people of Bermuda. Mr. Speaker, with these regulations, Bermudians will be able to keep more of what they save, and our pension system will be stronger, fairer, and more secure. I therefore commend the National Pension Occupational Pension Administration Fee Regulation 2025 to this honorable House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senior Minister. Does any other member wish to make a contribution? And Peter Cooter?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. So to be clear, the One Bermuda Alliance supports the goals of ensuring that all Bermudians can enjoy a properly supported retirement. And we know that one of the ways to get there is for people to put away enough money and allow it to grow with low-cost investments. One of the issues facing Bermudians today is that this regime that was put in place in 1998 and in effect in 2000, as the minister outlined, has not really been around long enough for many older Bermudians to properly build the balances that we need. And we saw some of the statistics that he provided. And if I got the statistics right and I did my math right, I believe I found an average balance of around 60,000. Or I heard through some other avenue, I believe the CFA breakfast said an average pension balance was around 150,000. You can imagine, Mr. Speaker, that when one goes to retire, that will not go very far. You can also imagine that there are many high earners in Bermuda that are skewing that balance up. And we're not so worried about them, but there must therefore be many whose pension balances are lower. So certainly work needs to be done to help people get the pensions that they need. And to be clear for those listening, and we are talking about the occupational pensions, the private pensions for people working in the private sector where they have an employer provided pension, they put in 5%, their employer puts in 5%, and it is a defined contribution. That means what's defined is how much you put in. What's not defined is how much you get out. That is up to how the investments perform and the vagaries of the markets, which is why it is essential that people start investing early. They take advantage of the compounding impact of investments, and they avail themselves of low-cost investments, low-fee investments. And I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm pretty sure this is what any financial advisor would be saying. So we contrast this to the public pensions. And the only reason I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, I'm getting a couple of looks, but we're talking about two different things, and we'll talk about that later today. The public pensions, which we will talk about today, are A defined benefit, yes, you put money in, but it's guaranteed what you get out, and the risk of that goes on to the government. What we're talking about today is your private pensions for those in the private sector, and the risk of your retirement funds go on you. So as I mentioned, we definitely agree that it is important to cap fees. So certainly the aims of this bill, we are in support of. I will note, I believe there's only 5 providers. If I checked the Pension Commission website, perhaps going down to 4, because as we know that 2 companies have merged. So you can imagine that that is going to reduce options and reduce competition in this space. I thank the minister for providing the information about the fees in Bermuda versus other jurisdictions. I think we understand that doing business in Bermuda necessarily carries higher costs in jurisdictions. And my intent here is not to carry water for the Bermuda pension fund industry, but it is also to admit that anybody who's done business in Bermuda knows that it's more expensive. So we do have to take some of those numbers with a grain of salt. I don't think we can expect that companies in Bermuda dealing with the number of customers or members, as they say that they have, will be able to achieve the same low cost operational that those companies overseas do. So I'm just putting that out there. One of the concerns that we have is that these fee caps may cause a reduction in competition in the industry. We would have liked to have seen these as part of a more holistic approach. You know, we like to talk about cutting red tape. Where do the costs for operating these pension funds in Bermuda go to? Well, they have to pay rent. They have to hire employees to deal with, for example, the exceptions that allow people to take money out of the pensions. And the more of those there are, the more support that people will need. So there's costs there. So in fact, every time the government allows people to take money out, in fact, a different way, they're increasing costs on the pension fees. There is software that people have to get. Obviously, the rules we have in Bermuda are specific to Bermuda. So they're not able to get the software off the shelf. So one of the things we would have liked to have seen perhaps is transparency. So like, how could more transparency be given to customers, members, so that you know what those fees are, and that they in turn can put pressure on their employers to shop around and reduce those fees. And I understand that in some jurisdictions, they have created legislation about that, and it has then resulted in a reduction in fees. So while this top-down imposition of the fee caps is well-intentioned and certainly directionally correct, we must understand that it will only be one part of a bigger picture. We may see loss of a pension provider in Bermuda, thereby reducing competition. I know that some providers, they negotiate the packages with the employers. But really, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to go back to where I started. The biggest problem is the low balances that retirees have and the low contributions. Now, we're going to talk later today about the public pensions, and it's not defined contribution, it's defined benefit, but their contributions are on the order of 20%, going up, actually 10% from the employer and 10% from the employee, versus the private pensions is 5 and 5. We know that some other jurisdictions have 7.5% for each. So I think that this would be a good time for the government to consider how can it help people save more by also looking at that variable of the equation. I know in the past, when we have discussed the pensions, for example, while the One Bermuda Alliance supported hardship withdrawals for things like COVID, we didn't necessarily support other withdrawals because we know the importance of compounding and building these investments up. And some people on the government benches said, oh, we were being paternalistic. Well, you must admit that the whole creation of a legally required pension is paternalistic, if that's your line of thinking, but to good impact. For example, is it paternalistic that we have to have third-party insurance when we drive on the roads? No, it is a good public benefit. So I would urge this government to look further at this issue and look at things like how to promote transparency in law, how to promote competition, and how to promote helping Bermudians grow their pension balances faster. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, MP. Does any other MP, Minister Adams, you'd like to make a contribution?
Good. Are we still afternoon, Mr.
Yes.
Speaker? I wanted to rise and give voice to my support for this bill and thank the junior minister for bringing this for bringing this regulations forward. As you know, Mr. Speaker, prior to me taking this current role, I sat as the junior minister of finance, and this was one of my focuses. And so I am appreciative to see it has gotten to this stage. Mr. Speaker, when Bermudians put their hard-earned dollars into their pensions, they do so with the expectations that the licensed pension administrators will invest their money, and that over time, their contributions are combined with the interest from those investments. There will be enough savings for them to maintain a certain standard of living, a sense of security, dignity, and a peace of mind throughout their retirement. But for too long, we believe that too much of those savings have been drained away by what we believe are higher than normal fees. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you firsthand, because I have seen it for myself, instances when pension administrators were charging more in fees than the interest they were earning for individuals. So their savings was depleting, not because of poor investment choices, not because of lack of contributions, but because of these higher than normal fees. And so that leads us to today. And so I am proud to stand with a government that says clearly that those days are coming to an end. Mr. Speaker, to further the point of the issue we are addressing is that in 2022, the Pension Commission requested an independent assessment from an internationally recognized institution to do an assessment on private pensions and the fees that are constructed under the private pension or the administrators. And that report came out and said what many Bermudians already feel, and that is that these pension fees are just far too high. The report found that these fees in Bermuda, as the junior minister spoke about earlier, on average was double the international average. Yes, Mr. Speaker, the average Bermudian was paying twice as much in admin fees as internationally recognized or international averages. Double, twice as much. Mr. Speaker, just in case there are any doubt as to my position, and I believe the position of the government, we will categorically say that we were not here, we were not elected to defend the profits of pension administrators. In 2017, we said that we will put Bermudians first, and we are here today doing just that. And so now, how did we get here? Well, in 2019, Parliament amended the law that allowed or gave the Minister of Finance power to cap these fees. It was a clear demonstration to me that this government is not afraid to act. The Pension Commission then completed their initial review in 2021, and since which have urged the pension administrators to lower their fees. We received the independent report back in 2022, and after consulting with industry stakeholders in 23 and 24, we still saw these fees higher than expected. And so therefore, as far as we are concerned, the case was undeniable. Bermudians deserved better, and today we are delivering on that promise. So what does this bill in practical terms means? Well, if I can try to simplify, and I appreciate the junior minister in his efforts as well, but if I can simplify, it means simply that admin fees will be capped at 1.25% for larger accounts and 0.5% for smaller accounts. As such, an average worker with more than $50,000 in their account will save approximately $750 a year. Over a career, that adds up to more than $75,000 in extra retirement funds. For smaller balances, the annual savings is about $125, which adds up to be more than $14,000 over a career. That is a real difference. It is money in the hands of Bermudians and not siphoned away in excess fees. And Mr. Speaker, now I know there will be those who resist this reform. We accept that. Some administrators, as the honorable member who just took his seat, will say that the cost of business is too high. Some will say that service perhaps is likely to suffer. But I will say this, I am reminded in doing my research of when the UK capped their fees in 2015 to 0.75%, I might add. When the UK capped their fees, their pension industry did not collapse. It adapted. And so I'm here to say that Bermudians deserve no less. Mr. Speaker, let me also emphasize that this government has not acted in isolation. The Pension Commission established an advisory committee with representatives from employers and unions, insurers, international companies, and pension administrators themselves. Consideration, the government made the decision to act in the best interest of the people. This is not arbitrary. This is responsible governance rooted in evidence and consultation. And so, Mr. Speaker, these regulations is about more than percentages and fee schedules. It is about whether we believe Bermudians deserve the same protections as workers around the world. It is about whether we will continue to allow companies to siphon off retirement savings unchecked, or whether we will stand up and simply say enough is enough. So when a Bermudian worker looks at their pension statement, they should see savings that are truly theirs. So with these regulations, we are saying to every Bermudian, your government will not sit idle while companies profit at your expense. We will fight for your future. We will fight for your families. We will fight for your dignity throughout your retirement. And so, Mr. Speaker, again, I say that we were not elected to maintain the status quo. We were elected to care. We were elected to protect. We were elected to deliver. And today, again, I thank the junior minister for bringing this regulations forward, because again, this is exactly what we are doing.
Any other member?
Almost.
Premier?
Mr. Speaker, I am grateful for the current junior minister and the former junior minister for their support and their work on this particular matter. I must, however, say, Mr. Speaker, I was disappointed to hear what comes to be support with conditions from the opposition, because it's either you're for something
Point
or
of
you're
order,
against it.
Mr. Speaker.
Point of order.
The
Yes.
Premier is, I'm sure, unintentionally misleading the House. We did not support with conditions. We supported and we asked for things we would like to see in the future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for the clarification.
Again, Mr. Speaker, support with conditions. Now, Mr. Speaker, I find it particularly interesting on this particular matter, especially as a result of the honorable member who said he's not there to carry water for the public, for the pension administrators, yet he didn't declare his interest that he has inside the holdings of a pension
Point of
administrator.
order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order.
Any member of the public is entitled to visit the parliamentary website where my interests are well declared. Also, I have no specific interest in this that many other members of the public do not also have, as highlighted in the standing orders on those parts. So I would appreciate if the Premier not insinuate poor intent on my part, and I would ask him to retract that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
He has no interest, Premier.
Mr. Speaker, it is clear in the public domain that the honorable member has a declarable interest in a pension administrator in this country. However, Mr. Speaker, the reality is that he does. But the reality is that what we find ourselves getting from the opposition is the defense of the status quo, mask, my opinion, mask in, oh, yes, we support. But here's the reality, Mr. Speaker. This bill today is about fairness. And when we talk back at the history of this, Mr. Speaker, you and I both know what this was about. This was a United Bermuda party on their way out in 1998, putting in place a bill that has limited amounts of pension administrators. And the fact is that $500 million of fees have gone to companies mostly owned by the persons who have declarable interests on that side, Mr. Speaker. That is the reality. Whether it is the former leaders of the UBP who had, when these things were set up, $500 million of fees. 500. $500 million. Now, see, here we go.
Members,
Here we go. Here we go. See, you know what it is. And so here's the reality, Mr. Speaker. Let's not cloud this bill. Public policy, good. But let's be clear, there's many things that are masked in public policy to ensure. And so when we're talking about fairness and other types of items, the view would be, why not? Why not in any way, shape, or form open those matters up? But I digress, Mr. Speaker. It's an important point to make. And people must understand and remember. And so when this particular piece of legislation was changed in 2019, at that point in time, under the former Minister of Finance, the Honorable Member for Constitution number 21, and it has been back and forth with pension administrators. And my job as Minister of Finance was to say, put the foot down and say, we are going to make these changes. $500 million over 20 years is more than enough. And make sure that money goes to retirees. The honorable member said, with these changes, the average person entering the workforce will have $75,000 more dollars in their retirement balance when they retire. $75,000. Look at the total workforce. You can add up the numbers yourself. That's what we're doing, Mr. Speaker, today. That is fairness, and that deserves full support, in my opinion, and not unqualified support. But here's the thing, Mr. Speaker, these regulations will pass, and we will continue. We will tackle matters related to banks and fees and the items that are being done there. We will tackle matters of financial fairness, because that is what the people of this country voted for, and that, Mr. Speaker, is what this government will deliver. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Premier, it's 2 minutes to that time. Do you want to take us to committee beforehand, Junior Minister? No committee, that's right. Do you just want to close us out then? Okay, close us out, we'll move on to the next announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the said draft regulations be approved and that a suitable message be sent to His Excellency the Governor.
Any objections to that? There are none. The regulations have been approved and the appropriate message will be sent. Premier?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the Honorable House to now adjourn for lunch until 2 p.m.
Any objections to that? No. The House now stands adjourned until 2 p.m.